foot washing done by the servants in the household during the time of Jesus was not a glamorous job. Feet in the dusty streets of Jerusalem were dry, dirty, calloused, and cracked. To wash someone's feet was an act of hospitality and welcome, an act of care and humility. And so there Jesus was standing before his disciples with a wash basin in one hand and a towel in another. And he says to them, I am setting an example for you to follow. And what I have done, you also need to do. He took the disciples that followed him from their farms, from their fishing nets, and he told them that they were special. He told them that they were the beloved sons and daughters of God. They were loved by God. But they were not special to move them up to another status. Rather, they were called and they were special because they needed to serve. They needed to be able to carry on his ministry of loving people after he was gone. You can almost hear the disciples asking, like they always did, when there were lepers in front of them. They looked at Jesus and said, what are we going to do? When the hungry were begging for food, they would look at Jesus and say, what are we going to do? When those who were blind came to Jesus for healing, or those who were caught in adultery, the disciples looked at Jesus and said, what are we going to do? The answer that Jesus gave them and showed them was always the same. That answer was, just love them. Just love them. He was preparing them for a time when they would be feeding the hungry, comforting the dying, welcoming the homeless and the stranger, taking care of the lost and the forsaken. He was preparing them for a time when they would be staring right into the faces of sinners and saints, all shapes and sizes, all suffering from their own brokenness, their loneliness, all trying to be whole people. Today, as we look into our own lives and around the world, there is a lot of what in the world are we going to do? A lot of those moments in each one of our lives. What are we going to do? And we hear the words of Jesus speaking to each one of us. Just love them. Tonight, we look like a rather clean-footed church. Days and weeks to come, and months will pass, and our feet are going to get a little dirtier. We're going to see people around us whose spirits are breaking, who are tired, who are struggling. Their very lives, their very spirits will be dry and cracked and calloused and worn from the daily journey. And you may find yourself wondering, what in the world am I supposed to do? And Jesus once again will tell you to look at your brother and sister, to look at that person that you love and sometimes that person that you find very difficult to love. And Jesus gives us the answer. Just love them. God bless you. As a community and as a church in our world today, to so be of service to one another. We need to follow the example of Jesus Christ. And when we do that in faithfulness, we will become the people that God needs us to be and intended us to be all of our lives.